it's a great opportunity for an artist just to just have the order to just go out and paint every day, all day, no restrictions, and when you're tired, come back and sleep and do it all over again. And although I am retired and I paint almost every day in Grand Rapids, which is where I live now, this is, I don't know how to explain it, but it's, I guess because there's so many landscapes that are inspiring to paint, I'm just so motivated to go out and paint every day, and I just paint as much as I can. So I think I did 15 or 16 paintings in the 12 days that I've been here so far. So I think I'll just go, I've got these sort of organized like day 1, day 2, so if I just go through these for you. And I started out doing these quick little color sketches. And I've been experimenting with that this year because I've been doing a lot of street painting lately, both in Grand Rapids and some of our tourist destinations in the LA, Saugatuck and Douglas. And I just love doing buildings and cars and just the way things kind of look. But I was a little frustrated I couldn't do them quickly enough, and so this is a technique I developed that I can do in about an hour. I work and then I leave in an hour, and I nudge them a little bit when I get back to the studio. But about an hour and 15 minutes is all I put into these here. And I think in these you can really tell, I think, my illustration roots, because it does have to me it has a slight commercial kind of look to it, but that's the kind of animal I am. This was the first morning here. I got here Sunday, and I didn't do a darn thing Sunday but move in. So Monday morning, this is Petoskey Pete's, which I was sitting right in front of the center gallery, I guess, sitting just having a cup of coffee or something, and I just saw that the sun was just hitting that Petoskey, which is a kind of a yellowish building. It was just great. So how I do these is it's basically an ink line drawing first, before I put any color on. You can see there's a lot of black line in there. And I use a liquid acrylic because it's a lot, it doesn't bleed at all when you put your watercolor on 5 minutes later. So I take I use a bamboo shoot, which is about that long with this little pointy end, because I don't want to get too detailed and start, getting too illustratory. So I just very loosely try to sketch in the structure of the building and the composition, and then I go to my watercolors, and I put those watercolors on pretty flat. Just like this is just one color, and then this guy is just one ultramarine blue. It's all just kind of flat color, and it just goes so fast. It's just fun to do a painting in an hour. It's just kind of energizing. So my strategy was the first couple days I was just going to do as many of these as I could. So this was the first one I did. Yeah, that was the first one I did. That afternoon I drove up to Leland, and I was going to paint Fishtown, but it was just so scorching hot that day, and there's no shade there. There's no shade to paint from. So except there's one tree in front of the Murdoch's Fudge Shop, coincidentally. So I sat there in the shade, and the owner of the cove has this amphibicar.
Yeah.
Not the aqua car. The official name of it's the amphibicar. When was that? When did they build it? 50s, isn't it?
60s. I think early 60s.
Yeah. Well, anyway, this is like the worst boat ever built and the worst car ever built combined. If you've ever seen one of these in the water, I mean, the water comes up to like there. I would not want to, but anyway. So the owner of the cove puts that in front of the cove to kind of give people, get some attention. And it does get attention. So I couldn't resist that. This color, the red, and then that kind of turquoisey awning there was just, it was just great. So another thing I'm trying to do more in my watercolors, and then this technique is kind of helping me a little bit, is I like these little rivers of white that get your eye into the painting, which I always like to see in watercolors, and I don't see that enough in my full-blown watercolors, so I'm kind of looking to do this more, and just hope that translates into my larger watercolors.
So you tape it, Jeff, or you were able to accomplish that without putting any tape?
Tape?
Keep it white while you're working.
You mean here?
Yeah, keep it white.
Oh, no, that's just a brush stroke, yeah. Yeah, all of that preliminary stuff, frisketing or taping, it's just so, it's so commercial, and I used to do that when you had to do it, but I just like to just kind of let it rip, and it's kind of the way I enjoy painting now, so. Now this is the schoolhouse on, is it Port Oneida Road. And that was, I saw this when I first went by there. It was just one of those great preserved old country schoolhouses. And I pretty much gave that the same treatment with the line and then the color. Oh, and then I ran out of foam cores. This is it. And I had to double up on some of these. Then the outhouse for the schoolhouse, which was just great. And to my great relief, those are functioning outhouses. And you know, if it's possible to have a state-of-the-art outhouse, that's a wonderful stainless steel, and it's just beautiful. I recommend that outhouse. It's really great, and I found that a lot of these farmhouses have functioning outhouses, which is great. I'm in favor of that. So that was, I think, the end of day 2, and then somewhere I had to kind of double up on some of these. Then that is the pine cone. The little pine cone, ice cream cone and hot dog shop right there at 22. And I was over at Boondocks and I was having a sandwich and I just happened to look at that. It just seemed like a really neat little thing to do it, so I just applied my ink and color technique to that. And let's see if that's all the quick ones. Then I got into started doing the larger full color illustrations. I'm just going to load this up. Here's the next one. I don't know why, but red is really a theme for me right now. I just kept seeing red, and so I love red, so can't resist that. So this one here, this is what's that called? The old art building in Leland. Does that, you know what that is? And I've driven by that so many times. They've got a really high hedge. That's the reason you don't see that building. It's like a 6-foot high hedge. And again, I was in Leland to paint Fishtown. Again, it was too hot. There's no shade. But in here, they've got shade in the afternoon because of those hedges. So I just got over to. You know, it's not. I knew it wasn't a great composition, great painting, but it was my only shot to get a painting in Leland. And so I did that. And I learned a lot about that facility because people kept going in and out. They had a dancing class there. There was a guy setting up an art exhibit. I mean, that's an active place. It's a great, yeah, it really is. And the Michigan State has an extension course there. It's a really cool place. So I almost finished it. This I'm probably not going to leave bragging. I'm probably going to finish that off. And that'll be that painting. This obviously is over there at Haven. And there were two guys. Now, if you come up and look at this later, you can see I just penciled in. There's a figure on the ladder, and there's a figure up here. There's two guys that are painting that. And I got what I like about painting on location is I get to talk to people while I'm out there. It's lonely in the studio. It's lonely. I like to talk to people while I'm working, so these guys came over and I learned quite a bit about, you know, how they really, you know, they're contracted by the park system, and since they've been doing that, they've been kept busy year-round, so apparently the park system really employs a lot of kind of local craftsmen and stuff. And one of the guys was a Native American guy who worked for his uncle used to be the captain of the fishing boat that's in Fishtown. Is it called Susie or Suzanne or something like that? But 10 years ago he was a fisherman until his uncle insisted on going out in a winter blizzard. And then the Coast Guard went out and told them to come back in, and the uncle refused because they had made a quota fish then.
Oh!
And so they did make it back, but then this guy quit. He said, I just can't fish anymore. But he loved painting that boat because he said it's almost identical to that fish boat that he worked on. So he was kind of sentimental about that. So that there's something about my method here I can speak to. Also, I put this yellow sky in just because I just thought it would be interesting. There was no yellow sky, but the next morning I went out there and there's a yellow sky. So, so was I wrong?
You brought it.
So that's kind of finished, but I'm still kind of messing around with that. This is right next to the museum. The Nautical Museum is right over here. And this is Glen Arbor again, and this is where the boats were kept. This is a track I tried to make it like a railroad track. The boats would come down there into the water. And I was, as I was painting that scene, there was, people started to kind of get behind me, and as I look back, there's about 20 people. And there's a family back there on a blanket and a picnic, and I'm thinking, came to watch the evidence. Well, they came to watch the life-saving reenactment, which was right in front of me is where the gal came out and did the whole thing. Vanity. But it was great because it's fun to watch that reenactment with the kids and everything, and that was pretty cool. So, and then that same afternoon I started to paint the museum there. And this is kind of what happens to a certain percentage of my paintings. I liked where this was headed, but it just seemed so similar to that other painting. And you know, so I painted about an hour. And in my head, I think I could just finish that painting now, but right now, I'm not too motivated to finish it because, you know,
Because of the
I don't
composition?
want to start to repeat.
The composition, you've done that composition before?
No, I haven't done it before, but, well, this building is right next to this building. And so, since I painted that one, and I figured this one would be a keeper, and did I really want to paint another one that's in the Coast Guard architecture? So I just decided I didn't want to spend my time working on it, because that's going to take another 2.5 hours to finish. So right now that's sort of abandoned. Like all of these, you know, I don't know how an artist really knows if the painting is finished. You know, if I can't think of anything I can do to make it better, it's finished. I mean, whether it is or not, I can't do anything with it. So then the next one's here. This is my PowerPoint presentation. It's close as I'm going to get to a PowerPoint presentation. I kind of get into the farms at this point here. But this obviously is the cannery, and I'm really not sure where I'm going with this, and I haven't really finished that. I'm not really sure. I really love the color here. I like where the light hit this, and all the detail just kind of disappears. It was so bright, and I like that. And so I don't know where I'll just have to.
That's a cannery? That's Canterbury.
The rear section of it.
The rear section.
Right, right, it really goes off a long ways here.
No, I know.
But I just, I was trying to paint it a little different way than I've seen, so. And I painted it, the lake was really dark, and that's one of the Manitous. That's gotta be North Manitou, I guess.
Right.
And the lake really was really dark, and I made it a little darker than that, just for the drama.